presents to you Honest Talk.
Hello folks, we are so glad to announce that today Namita Liz Koshy, Vice President Ogilvy, is going to join us. She had 13 years of experience, worked with Ogilvy for half of her career, worked with 2 small agencies and Accenture for the remaining half. She has interacted with all kinds of professionals from all over the world. She has been in leadership roles for more than 5 years, worked for brands in multiple industries: IT, FMCG, Airlines, Hospitality, Automotive, and more. So let's have a talk with Ms. Namita Liz Koshy.
Thank you so much for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts with us. We are extremely very happy to have you for today's talk.
Thank you, and I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, moving to the topic of today's session, which we have chosen is how to build partnership at work. Ma'am, which is already a question in itself. But before I jump to this, ma'am, it's my request to you, ma'am, please tell our viewers about why it is important and need of partnership at work.
Well, I think we live in at least most of us live in a knowledge economy, an information economy, and computers haven't taken over the whole office yet. So it's mainly people that human beings have will always be large, and plus India is a very, very large workforce, and therefore knowledge industries will matter a lot. I come from a creative industry, so which means it is completely built on how people look at things in a very new and fresh, original way. So that's why it's very, very important with so many people around, and there are 16 unique personalities in the world. You're not going to be interacting with somebody exactly like you. So it's important to know what you bring to the table and then what the other person can also bring. And 2 heads are always better than 1.
All right, ma'am. So, of course, ma'am, moving to the topic of today's session, how to build partnership at work, ma'am. Please tell us why means how we can build partnership and how we can excel in that.
Okay, so let's put in some perspective. The how to build partnerships is, to me, is like building a partnership on the cricket ground, right? We all know how to. We all comment, right, when we have batsmen on the field, building a really good partnership. And you know why that matters? Because it's stronger against the external forces that are trying to break you down, right? How many do you remember? Too many matches in which just one person, I mean, Sachin Tendulkar is God, but just one person could just hold the entire match together, as opposed to good partnerships, right? Yes. So that's, you have to look at if the philosophy of partnerships on the cricket ground is pretty much the philosophy of partnerships in the workplace. Okay, and it's just like understanding your strengths, and it's a lot of awareness that I have these strengths, but I also have weaknesses, and the people that I work with, I respect them. I see that they are as good as me, may not be in the same areas, but they have strengths that I don't have, and they might have weaknesses that I can help counter, so we can be partners. So that's, I think, fundamentally respecting why we need partnerships, because we're better together. And the second is simply being aware, I'm strong in these areas, but I'm equally weak in some areas, and the other people that you work with.
It's really a wonderful answer, ma'am. Ma'am, one question which I would like to raise it here is what are the key elements of successful partnership?
Listening. When two people or multiple people listen to each other. Sometimes I went through this very, very recently, when I realized when the person was still talking, I started my sentence already. But when I actually waited for the person to finish their question, right? And I listened. I felt like I was a better partner to them. So I find that the most important successful partnerships are when people put aside what they want to say in their heads, like their heads are actually blank, and they're listening to actually who's in front of them and saying and looking for what is it that they're thinking. I see an idea, like truly respecting their idea and say, oh, I can contribute here. So that, I believe, is what successful partnerships are.
All right, ma'am. Ma'am, if we come to business partnership, so what would you like to comment on how one can maintain a great business with partners?
Okay, so you know what the funny part is? I have worked just my domain alone, right? Because it's creative and it's advertising. And I'm on the business side of things. I have many, many stakeholders to work with. So I just feel that we can look at it as stakeholder management, okay? Which is nothing but this job that you're like, oh my God, there's chaos everywhere. I have to keep it all under control, right? You can go with that mindset, or you can go with this mindset and say, okay, I am going to be critical to the entire group functioning together, right? You know how the mother of a household is so critical and keeps everybody aligned, or sometimes it's not the mother, sometimes it's the father, sometimes it's the sister. You know, I'm just saying there's that one person in the family, you know, who will keep everybody together. There's a director in a movie, right? The director themselves don't make the set or write the script, but brings it all together, right? So same way, I work with very fantastic creative people, very fantastic strategists, good production folks, clients who know a lot of things, people who know a lot of tools, older people who have a lot of wisdom, younger people who have a lot of energy, right? So for me, it's business partnership is about bringing all of those together in one nice family kind of spirit, okay? And that's why culture matters. So business partnerships are not just quantum and complexity of relationships, but it's also setting the culture for how that will entire thing work. That's on you know, from my personal experience. I also think that gone are the days when it is one company doing just one thing, right? Today, collaborations between big brands, between even two small businesses are almost a certainty. Look at how during COVID-19 and the whole lockdown part of it, all the delivery guys came together. Every essential provider came together. And that, to me, is a fantastic business partnership, right? So inside the business, it's multiple people of different kinds of personalities. Outside the business, it can actually be two entire organizations coming together at the drop of a hat, or it can be a long-term relationship or thing.
Again, it was a wonderful answer. Ma'am, my next question to you is that if a person is looking for a startup or something, he want to start something like venture. So ma'am, when he is finding a business partner, then what are the qualities he should look on?
Okay, I'll say what you should not look for. You should not look for somebody who's identical to yourself. That's the wrong thing to do. Because then what happens is you're just looking at clones of yourself, and no two people are identical. Your expectations are different. Okay, I want to quote David Ogilvy, who is the founder of our agency and one of the veterans of Ogilvy. And I didn't understand it when he first wrote it. He said, we should all hire people who are better and bigger than us, right? So that we end up becoming a company of giants. If we end up hiring people who are smaller than us, then we end up becoming a company of dwarfs. I've known this quote for many years, but I genuinely now see the value of it. If you can be humble enough to say that, look, I'm a creative genius, right? People have called me that. I've done this, but I can have people better than me. And so just imagine the kind of collaboration that can happen because I'm with people better than me. And that's why I want to go back to the question that you were asking, that is, what kind of partner should I hire? Definitely not somebody who's exactly like you, but you should hire somebody who is, or bring on board a partner who is better than you if possible. It'll make you a better professional, a better person. It'll make you understand your limitations and make you strive further. That person will keep pushing you. And the truth and the most beautiful thing is that partnerships make you better. People make you better. Sometimes, I think gone are the days where you had to compete with someone to improve your capability. You have to collaborate with someone and rub off on each other. So yeah, that's what I think you should do. Don't hire somebody who's identical to you, but hire somebody who is bigger than you. And it might seem like, oh my God, how do I hire someone bigger than me? You're a business guy. Pitch the business to them, sell them, win them over, and sell the dream of what you guys can do together, right? And hopefully that person is also humble.
All right, ma'am. You have already so much, ma'am, focused on collaboration. So, ma'am, my next question to you is how collaboration increases and powers the productivity?
Okay, so actually I am not pro collaboration like 100%. Okay, you can't sit and collaborate 8 hours in a working day. That's not possible. You have to understand there's something called productivity, right? And there's collaboration. Productivity is me giving an output. Okay, I have a certain set of skills. I will contribute an output of X. Collaboration is saying together we will connect, we will exchange ideas and views and beliefs, even disagree if we need to, but the output is much better than one person can. It's not a one person job, it needs multiple people, and therefore that can be done. I believe if you really want to be a very productive workforce, or if you're a leader and you're putting together an entire productive startup, I'm going to use the analogy of sports again. I played basketball in school. I was a choir singer in college, and we had auditions. We knew exactly who were. We knew the game so well. We knew what kind of strengths would go into what kind of place. When it came to music, who was a soprano, who was an alto, how does harmony come with certain things coming together? How do you make a world-class team or a basketball team with these things coming together, right? But you have to look at what can one person contribute and who's the backup, who's the substitute for that person also, right? And most critical for productivity, absolute alignment. Everyone should know every single day what is their job, what do they need to produce, right? So very clear job description, but motivated energy every single day. And one ingredient which I love is culture. If you have a culture of fear, if you have a culture of insecurity, if you have a culture of laziness or sluggishness, how will the collaboration and productivity be? It will only come out that way. But if you have a culture of respect, if you have a culture of getting things done, if you have a culture of innovation, right? The productivity is more. So these are things that I feel collaboration and productivity should result in, or at least in.
Again, ma'am, it was really a wonderful, and also I think it will be much fruitful for our viewers too. Ma'am, as we have talked about productivity, so I would like to raise my next question, which is also related to productivity here. What can be the ways, ma'am, to increase the employees' productivity in the workplace?
Motivation. I think that's just, everyone wants to feel valued, Harsh, to be very honest. Every human being, whether it's at home or in school or at work, they just want to be seen. They want to know that I'm good for something, right? There are just too many inner voices in our heads. So one is everyone wants to be valued. The other is motivation. It's important for the leaders to have a sixth sense about, are people at their top motivation today? Are they doing really well? Is there something that's bringing them down? Rainy days aren't very great for for overproductive working, right? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And I'm just saying, most of the time, a lot of people are staring outside the window. You can't do anything. In that case, you just bring out the chai and the samosas, and then you just put everyone together and let everyone be chilled out, right? That's the right thing to do. But yeah, I think it's knowing where exactly each of your people are in their levels of drive, motivation. And the third most important thing is help people, right? Everyone's struggling with something. They're struggling with, maybe there's an ace performer who is just like, I'm so bored, I need to do something else or else. That could be one. Or there's one person who's just joined and doesn't know how to speak to some of the other colleagues, right? Women especially, they keep a lot inside, bottled up, right? They just need someone to ask them a question sometimes. I'm sorry I'm generalizing, but this is my experience as well. I'm not like that. I will go up and I will say whatever I want to say to whoever I want to say. There's a lot of hesitation. Like, for example, I'm sure when you started off this channel, you were like, what do I ask? Who do I ask? Kind of thing, confidence building. So that's important as well. Be very helpful so that people...
What can be the ways to make them motivated all the time?
I think that's a really unreasonable expectation. People are going to not want to be motivated all the time. Some days are great days. I think a good chat in the morning always helps, a little bit of energy building. There's always that one person in the team who's the energy builder. So that coming together of everybody in the morning is just really nice. I love that. When I used to run a 10-member team, and we had like a little bit of a morning ritual. Some people don't like it, but it was nice because I'd go around to every single person and just say, hey, what's up? Or especially Monday mornings is that. The other is, when people are going, everyone's having a tough day, and the more senior you get, the tougher your job is every single day, right? The easier jobs are at the bottom, which I feel it's unfortunately that's how it is, right? You put the ones you promote the ones, or the more senior ones have a lot more experience to handle a lot of the tougher ones. So just sort of be there and say, can I help you with something? Right? That's good enough motivate. Discuss. Say, what about option 1 and option 2? What are you thinking about? Kind of stuff. Reward and recognition, right? This is the most important. People need to know that if I do 80% of my work, right, I'm happy. Everyone's happy with me. But if I go that extra 20, 30, 40%, right, then I could be eligible for something. I know my manager will notice it. I know if I do really well with this client, the client will send a good note back to us. If I do help somebody, I know that the company will value me for it, right? During COVID, all of us needed to be doing digitization. There were trainings. It's not part of somebody's job, but I was able to help this with someone. So it's reward, recognition is very, very important. Consistently, right, in the culture, in the thing. And what I love specifically about Ogilvy, right, is they just let you be. They hire the right people, they'll tell you what the job is, and they'll just let you be and go do it. Nobody's peering over your shoulder, no micromanagement. I mean, when you need help, you're available. When you don't, when you're figuring it out, then great, someone's accessible, someone's not. So I think just that freedom to just let be is also important for motivation.
Again, ma'am, it was really a great message, and also I think it will be again much fruitful for our viewers. Ma'am, I don't want to waste you much time, so moving to my last question of this session. Ma'am, would you believe does the productivity increases when the employer is working remotely as they are working now?
It's a good question. Look, I think office environments, to be honest, were designed to bring people together. Okay, the commute sometimes for people was important to leave behind a home and go to an office, right? But I think remote working is the kind of flexibility that people need when they're juggling. We don't live in joint families. Most of us don't live in joint families anymore, right? So we need, one day the maid is off, one day the kid's sick. You can't make your employee say, okay, that's the holiday and I'm not giving it to you, right? I mean, if I handle the mails from my phone, that's allowed. So I think the spirit of remote working is flexibility. Okay. Having said that, when this whole remote thing happened, I could immediately see this shift of working from office employees in a fixed office environment and familiarity of it, and your trip to the coffee machine, your hi hellos and all of that across the corridor and stuff, to a situation where all of us almost became freelancers overnight. And if you went to the office, it was more like the co-working kind of space. You go and you sit and you keep a distance, but you can talk to somebody, you can use something, you can do all of those things just because you want something. So that it was a shift for a lot of people to go from that fully employed mode to a freelancer mode. But if you very quickly realize that even freelancers figure out how to do this, right? They know their weeks and they know their days in advance, they plan their days out, they have certain priorities and things like that. So if that shift happened very nicely, which I mean, credit to my branch head and credit to my CEO. They work so hard during, it's been about 5-6 months of crisis, and they've been at it every single day. I have a lot of respect for them. It's not easy, but the first thing that they've always been doing with HR and with IT and with finance and all of that and office guys is making sure that there was the pain of shifting was reduced, and it was up to the individual and a lot of time free. And in fact, we have a do nothing day coming up, which is a holiday for us. So a working day, but a holiday at the same time. So it's nice. So to answer that specific question is, it hasn't affected productivity. If you've nicely made that shift to like that freelancer co-working mentality, no, it's been fabulous. But I must say, for women and for parents, pandemic parenting and working from home with no fixed office space, it is a very, very completely different challenge, right? Imagine noise and all of those things. You can't concentrate here, but you're doing the right things, you're doing all of those things. At that point, it's just important to say, you know what, it's important that your health, your safety, your family is fine, and we all have your back cumulatively, so we can support you. So if that culture of remote working was there, that support, the tools, all of that, just, I mean, doesn't that peace of mind that you're safe health-wise also make you a more productive employee?
Again, ma'am, it was really a wonderful message, and also it was a really great interaction with you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining and giving your important time. We look forward to conduct more sessions with you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Good luck to the community. Good job, and keep it up.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Very welcome.